Real talk, why doesn't every company use employer brand? I mean, it's not like we all don't know how incredibly powerful, incredibly valuable it is to be more attractive to candidates, right? Right? So I thought about it. Maybe I should ask other people. Why aren't companies investing in employer brand? And they came up with some really interesting reasons, and I boiled down to 5 different questions, 5 different obstacles as to why companies haven't invested in employer brand. And then I said I could do a huge series of videos on each one of them. And then I realized nobody wants that. What they want is simple. What they want is all the answers to employer brand in 60 seconds. So that's what I did. I answered the 5 biggest questions about employer brand in 60 seconds each. So I pulled out my handy dandy stopwatch. I'm going to put a timer on the screen to keep me honest. And I am going to, in 60 seconds, answer each of the 5 biggest obstacles to employer branding. It's Employer Branding 101, 60 seconds at a time. Are you ready? I know I am. Here is the first challenge. What is employer brand? Now, I know that when I talk about employer brand, or when people ask about employer brand and they get all these complicated answers, they usually walk away more confused than when they started, and that's unfortunate. Here's the deal. An employer brand is simply what people think it's like to work at your company. Now, that perception is individual, which means how I think about your company and how someone else thinks about your company can be different, but we're both right. Here's the thing. The real question, the question under the question is this. What's the purpose of employer brand? Well, here's the deal. The purpose is to get the people who would be perfect fits for your company, who are motivated by the same stuff, who like the way you work, who like to be rewarded the way you like to reward people, that they who are going to be perfect fits can find you and see you as a perfect fit. Simple as that. It's really about making it crystal clear about who you are, and how you differ from other companies so that the great talent can find you. Let's jump to the next question. What's so good about employer branding? Do you got an hour? Wait, I only got 60 seconds. Look, there's a lot of things that are good about employer brand. There's a lot of positive impacts you can see from employer brand, but let's stick to the very, very core ones. First off, it means that the people you actually want to hire actually want to work for you. I know, cool, right? It means higher attraction for the people who fit. It means faster fill times. It means better quality candidates. It means lower ad and agency spend. It creates a pipeline of people who you want to work for you before they're ready to start work. It's about connecting that talent and the brand you have to building a steady, predictable flow of talent. And that's something your leadership absolutely wants. In a nutshell, all of your recruiting math changes the minute talent starts chasing you. All right, question number 3, what does a good brand look like? And I love this question because it does really get at this core of employer brand is fuzzy and it's abstract and it's complicated, and what does a good brand look like? Okay, here we go. What does a good brand look like? That is complicated because it's the wrong question, because there's no such thing as a good brand. The brand that I think of as good is not the brand you think of as being good, because we want different things. So there's no such thing as a good brand or a bad brand. What there is a strong brand and a weak brand. Now, a weak brand is dull and bland and uninteresting and undifferentiated. It's trying to appeal to everybody, so it throws out a lot of blandly positive, nice things to say, and you can't tell it from a million other companies. A strong brand is clear. It's focused. It's not talking about 10,000 things. It's talking about the one thing that makes you amazing 10,000 different ways. It underscores the way you are different to candidates. Now, yeah, you won't appeal to everybody, but let's be honest, it's not like you want to hire just anybody, do ya? Question number 4, where to start? Employer brand is a big concept. It's a big, messy idea. How do I get started? Love it. Here we go. Ready? Where do you start? You can absolutely hire an agency to help you build your brand, and that's going to cost you time and money you may not have. So what do you do instead? How do you get started? Describe the following 3 things. 1, what is your mission or goal? What are you trying to achieve? 2, what is the day-to-day experience like? 3, what is the reward and recognition at the end? It's really simple. What are you doing? How do you do it? What do you get when you do it? Describe those things at a deep enough level that you start to find ways in which you are different from most companies, and you're there. This is the stuff candidates actually want to know. And here you are defining it for them. So capture it, translate it so all your team can understand it and own it and kind of internalize it, and then communicate it on every single touch point. And I don't mean just recruiting touch points. I mean internal comms, HR, marketing, all the touch points. Make sure everyone understands to be aligned to that idea. Last question. How long does employer brand take? Now, I know where this question comes from. Employer brand is this big strategic idea. Heck, if you hire an agency, it might take you 6 months before you see your brand. It's a big idea. It's a big, complicated thing. I get that. How long does it take to see the value of your employer brand? Now, employer brand gets a really bad rap for being a big long-term play, something that takes months to kind of deliver, let alone see value. Now, while it does create maximum value over time, a strong brand creates value almost immediately. Here's how. First, your recruiting content gets clear. It's more message than mess. It's not talking about a lot of different things. It's talking about what's fundamental to you. 2, you increase your funnel flow. You're not just attracting anybody who can hit the apply button. You're attracting people who want what you're offering, so they tend to not fall out of the funnel as quickly. 3, you increase your social reach for jobs almost exponentially. Oh, by the way, that's called free advertising for jobs. You'll love it. 4, you will start to appear way more attractive to the talent you actually want to hire. We start to see these things in as little as 4 weeks. How'd I do? I think I did pretty well. I did this in one big long take. I couldn't hit the timer for every single one. I think I nailed it. Employer brand in 60 seconds. What a concept. Now here's the deal. If you got really interested in that idea of what are we doing, how do we do it, and what do we get when we get there, I did a whole other video going super in depth into that idea, because to me, that is the crux of what your employer brand should be about. Don't worry about EVPs. Don't worry about all the complicated stuff. Get to the heart of the matter of who are we, what are we doing, and how do we do it, and what do we get when we get there? Simple as that. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to share this with anybody who's skeptical about employer brand and tell them you're going to answer questions in 60 seconds. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you next time.